fun, so what you gon' do? Spend it with my family, chill with the crew. We gon' share gifts, you don't have to spend loot. We celebrate culture, our African roots. We can help ourselves with Ujamaa, sister. We can help ourselves with Ujamaa, brother.
Welcome to night 4 of Kwanzaa.
Habari Gani, what's the news? December the 29th. Today's principle is Ujamaa, cooperative economics. Today, we light the red candle. Ujamaa means to build and maintain our stores, shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them together.
Habari Gani?
Ujamaa! Ujamaa means cooperative economics, to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them together. Hashtag Buy Black, hashtag support Black-owned businesses, hashtag Black Excellence.
All right. Much love to all the Black-owned businesses out there. To you watching at home, please make sure you buy Black.
As much as possible. It's
Like
super,
all the time.
Yes, all the time. So it's so important to grow the Black economy locally and nationally, because when you support a Black business, you support community.
Tonight we have 2 Black business owners that are joining us. Welcome, welcome.
Yes, please help us celebrate and welcome Jahmal Manning, CEO of the Generational Wealth Plug and creator of Digital MBA Program, and Angela K. Allen, renowned author and owner of Angie K. Books. Jahmal, can you please give us a brief bio for those who aren't familiar with who you are?
Yeah, so I'm Jahmal Manning, also known as the Generational Wealth Plug, and simply put, I teach people how to create generational wealth. The tool I use to do that is the Digital MBA. Many of the things you'll learn from the Digital MBA is finance, you'll learn budgeting, you'll learn accounting, you'll learn and different investment tools, investment vehicles, with the goal of teaching you how to use the money that you make now to create generational wealth from stocks, cryptocurrencies, and creating your own LLC.
That's amazing. We're super happy to have you here with us. And Ms. Allen, please, bio.
So my name is Angela. Everybody calls me Angie K. That's my author pen name. And so with that, I created Angie K Books, which is author and bookstore. Opened up August of this year, coming from a smaller space. So I've been open a year, just now on WWI White Road in August. So, you know, I help people create masterpieces and manuscripts, as well as own a bookstore and offer all types of books in there. And what we do, we want to create the ultimate reading experience for everyone that loves different types of books, different genres, or just want to come in and talk to me.
Awesome. So, like, what led you to start your business?
I've been an avid reader, like, all my life. My mom told me she used to think I was in the room with 50 people because I would read out loud. So I've always been a reader. I didn't start writing until about 2012, and I definitely never thought I would open a bookstore. However, traveling back and forth on the east side of town of San Antonio, I could never remember there was a bookstore on that side of town, just the Carver Library at some point. So I thought, oh, it would be neat to open a bookstore, and I don't know if I would be the first Black-owned bookstore or not. And I didn't really think anything of it. I kind of just was like, oh, it probably would never happen, especially in a pandemic, and it happened. And then I did find out that as far as an all-genre bookstore, like other national retailers, I was the first Black-owned bookstore. So that was an accomplishment for me, and I felt like that was an accomplishment for the city to have something in the urban community for everyone to come, Black and brown, and when they walk in, they can see themselves first. And I have all types of books in there, but it was important for me growing up and reading all the time I wanted to be able to always have books that look like me or look like my grandmother or look like my dad or uncle. And my dad always made sure of that. So I want to make sure of that for the community as well as my grandchildren and my children.
Trailblazing. I love it.
Right, congratulations.
Thank
Yes,
you.
congrats.
Absolutely.
What about you, Jahmal? What led you to open up your business?
Yeah, I mean, so I certainly respect that. That's,
Thank you.
First of all, I would say I wanted to teach us. I wanted to help us. You know, I get that question quite a bit in my DMs. You know, they want to know how I got to where I am, and the short of it is, you know, people think that like whenever they see you is when you started, but I actually started this same company 10 years ago. I may not have told y'all that, but like I started a nonprofit doing the same thing on the east side. You know, we went to the local middle schools and we were teaching stock investment courses and how to create your own company, and the wall. The problem that we ran into was we'd essentially hit a wall on resources. We hit a wall on knowledge to some point because you don't know what you don't know, right? So I took it upon myself to go back to school, you know, educated myself. Got a couple business degrees later, and you know, essentially take that knowledge that I attained from those colleges that, you know, they teach and prestigious universities, and the knowledge that they tend to hide from us, put it in a package, and I gave it back to our people. And so one is to help us. You know, I just love us. I don't know how to explain it. I just love us.
You know how to explain.
Yeah, right.
Right.
What's understood don't have to be explained.
The second reason is freedom. The second reason is freedom. I grew up in the Ridge. I say that all the time. Like seeing the struggle, you know what I'm saying? And then being introduced to the struggle growing up, having to work 12-hour shifts, coming home with calluses on my hand, back hurting, all type of nonsense. And then I tend to put two and two together. You know, I walked in my manager's office, he got his feet kicked up, and how is he, what qualifies him for that position to make 3 times as much as I do when we are putting all the work in? There would be no company if it were not for us. And so, you know, that kind of led me to thinking outside the box. So how can I be where he's at? You know, it's not to get mad and throw tantrums because, you know, you're not where he's at. The game is to figure out how to get there. Right. So, you know, I had to make a pivot. I had to make an adjustment. And I think ever since that day, I began to think, does it make sense for me to sell my time for money, right? That's really the leading thought in which made me push other people to create their own businesses as well as create my own. Is it worth selling your time for money? My people always tell me, is that all right? Is it? What do you think? Do you think
What
it
have we
is?
learned from Mr. Manning?
Yeah, I talk about this a lot. We go. I say, what is most precious to you, time or money? Would you rather have time or money? And
I know the answer is money, isn't it?
Close.
Okay.
Close. So 100% of the time, everybody says time, right? We've been programmed, we've been conditioned to think that you cannot get time back. The reality is you couldn't get that money back either, but I suppose it's a different topic for a different subject, for a different day. But everybody says time. 100% of the time you say time. So if that's your answer, then we have to think, if time is your most precious asset, then how can you sell your time, your most precious asset, for $7 an hour? We have to start thinking this way. And it was that line of thinking that made me, like I say, not only open my own business, but to promote everyone. You know, everybody in my circle, everybody I mess with, I tell them, you got to get a business. Whatever it is that you do for money, we know that it's valuable because someone pays you for it. So if someone pays you for it, then we can create a business around it.
Amazing and innovative way of thinking. Very
Generational wealth plug.
self-sufficient. So with 2020, we all know that 2020 has definitely thrown a few curveballs our way in more ways than one. How would you say you guys have really managed to stay afloat or stay relevant, if you will, stay sane? Business speaking, from a business standpoint, how have you been able to bounce back, if you will, or at least just maintain? We'll start with you.
Me, I will say my number one thing, and I tell everybody, my number one thing is I just trust God every day. I have to, because there's no point in worrying. That's not going to change the situation. So I trust him, but then I'm like, he just ain't going to throw it in my lap. You're going to have to do some work for it. Right. So, you know, with trusting God and going out there, and, you know, I try to promote myself as much as I can, you know, give people what I believe they need, not necessarily, you know, always looking at the monetary gain. I believe, and I've been taught, especially starting business, I've been taught that the money will come. You look for the need first and, you know, fulfill that need. And then at that point, you know, things will start happening. So with me, you know, being an author and then opening the store, even if you don't buy anything, you come and you talk to me and we talk about different books, different genres, or I talk about what I've written, or any kind of discussion we have. Even if you didn't buy anything, you've left there with something. You've left there with something from me. And so even in the middle of a pandemic, I have believed that, hey, if God gave me this store in the middle of a pandemic when so much is going on and the unemployment rate is crazy and there's no money, he didn't give it to me for it to be taken away or for me to have it for a little bit of time. But, you know, you may have to do some things, you know, going forward that you're uncomfortable with, or you may have to sacrifice some things. You might not be able to buy makeup every weekend, or you might not be able to eat out every weekend. However, I gave it to you, so I'm not going to take it away. So I just trust every day and work with what I have and keep it moving.
That's awesome. Jahmal?
I think that's the formula, to be clear. But to elaborate, I'll say, like, I'll be honest, I'm flourishing. Like, I'm making this bread, I'm not gonna lie to you. The reason why I'm doing that is because it's a simple solution. You see a problem and you sell a solution. And so therefore, the bigger the problem, the bigger the bag, right? The bigger the problem, the bigger the bag. So problem, for example, I love to give this example because it's not, I love to give the example of the cleaning company I started because it's not this luxurious thing, right? It's a commercial cleaning company. It's not something that's dependent upon education. You don't need degrees. You don't need, to attend these universities. You're not dependent upon anything, right? I always use the cleaning company as an example for that reason. So when the pandemic started, I was starting to get more involved in social media, right? So I started to chop it up with the tribe meaning the followers that I have on Instagram. And so during this pandemic, what can we do to make money, right? And we proposed the cleaning company, right? And so those who are following me on Instagram, they saw me take this thing from idea, right, to formulating an actual company, right? And the reason why that's powerful is because we always say thoughts manifest themselves into reality, right? Thoughts manifest themselves into reality. And so now this is the proof. We thought about this cleaning company and now we created it, right? And so I created the cleaning company. We laid out product differentiation. So what's going to make our cleaning company different? What's going to set us apart? We talked about key partners we can develop. We talked about the entire thing, and then we developed the company. And now we're up to 15 contracts in San Antonio, Dallas, Houston. And so I always use that example because, again, like, anyone can start a cleaning company. It wasn't dependent upon my degrees. Like, anybody could have started that, right? You just have to train your mind. You have to rewire, unlearn and relearn your brain to see problem and sell solution. The problem is that we have a virus, right? The solution would be to clean. That's simple.
I have a question to piggyback off what you said. So you said, and what you said about sacrifices, what kind of self-discipline and sacrifice do entrepreneurs have to basically make?
That's a deep one.
It's everything. It's everything. I mean, consistency, flexibility, and discipline is the entire. It's the entire thing. You know what I'm saying? People think like, if you work for yourself, it's easy. You get to wake up when it's like, it's harder because you have to hold yourself accountable. You know that manager you hate that's over your shoulder, like what's going on? Did you get that done? It's like you have to be that for yourself. You got to stand over yourself. You got to demote and promote yourself. So I say, you know, consistency, flexibility, and discipline, to my estimation, is the keys.
I would say the same. Discipline and focus, more so for me. Like he said, that manager that's saying, you know, what are you doing, or what time are you coming back, or you know you have a lunch break, and having a job working for somebody, even if you late, you still can clock in, and if you want to stay late to make up that 5 minutes you were late, you were able to. But when you work for yourself and you don't open up on time, or you leave and you don't come back on time, and somebody's calling or somebody's coming by and you've lost out, you've just lost out.
Sure.
You can't go back and clock in and know you still gonna get paid on Friday. And so discipline is a real one for me, because I was telling them I'm always late, and I have to be mindful of, okay, Angie, if you don't go open up, you don't know who may be there right at 10 o'clock. Somebody might be waiting for you. So if you waiting in the Starbucks line at 10:05, you done lost out the money you was gonna make back from Starbucks. So discipline, and then just staying focused every day. It's so hard to get distracted if you don't have the phone calls or the people coming in and out. It's hard to get distracted. So finding things to do that helps your business grow each day, every minute, every hour. So when stuff starts coming, you know, you have new ideas. You know, you have new ventures that you can promote or give your customers or your clients, so business can continue to flow. So I was just, like he said too, like discipline, focus, and accountability, holding yourself accountable for, you know, if you didn't do something today, you know, you have to hold yourself accountable for that, and sacrifice, because I sacrifice. Like, I love makeup, and I can't buy makeup every week like I want to, because something for the business is in need, and I have to concentrate on that first, and know and believe that eventually, Angie, you're gonna be able to do whatever you want to do at some point. But right now, it's time to focus. Because
it's also about the habit too. It's also about the habit. Like, if you can't manage $1,000, you can't manage 10,000. You know what I'm saying? I talk with people all the time. It's like, man, if I just had 100,000, right, I'll flip that and make something. It's like, no, you wouldn't, bro. If you had all the money that you wish you had, you would just have more fancier toys around you. But you would still go broke, because you don't. The problem is your inability to manage money. It's not how much money that you have to manage. So it's also the habit. It's like, say I have a store, you know what I'm saying? Me showing up every day on time, holding myself accountable, making sure the store is clean, making sure the products are good, making sure the quality is good. It's like I'm setting myself up to where 5 years from now, when I have traffic through the doors and I can barely hold on because I have so much traffic, I'm already prepared, because I've been doing it for 5 years. It's like, it's kind of one of the things I was mentioning initially, when I say people think that when they see you that you just started, like that's where you were. They don't see the work you've been doing for the past 5 years. If you can't handle doing it when you don't have any money, if you can't handle doing it when you don't have any views, when no one's paying attention, then you're gonna set yourself up for failure. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be willing to do it when no one's paying attention. If you making IG videos or whatever, you gotta be doing it when you have one view. You gotta have the mentality like, all right, bet, that one person that viewed this video is gonna get the greatest experience of their day viewing my content. So it's the habit of greatness as well, to piggyback on Angie. Like, it's the habit that you developing that sets you up for a long time. We don't think of what we're gonna do next month. We're past that now. Now we're thinking about 5 years from now. 5 years from now, these habits are gonna pay off.
Successful habits. Ooh, the whole tale in itself. What would you say has been the grandest moment for you as a Black business owner? Whenever the journey started for you, whatever, whether it started when you opened up your bookstore, or Jahmal, when you created the digital MBA, or maybe when you found, or maybe even when you started the nonprofit, that's your journey started even way back when. What's been the grandest moment for you as a Black business owner? And I'm being specific to say with that term in mind. Jahmal, we'll start with you.
I've been blessed. I've just been blessed. Like when we first started this thing, I'll say, I'm not even gonna put a year in, I don't know. It felt like 10 years ago, so I'll just go with that. When we started the nonprofit, I was able to get people to buy into the vision, and part of being part of participating in the nonprofit was community service. So I want you to do community service, and through that act, I was able to get an award from Obama.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we got an award from Obama for community engagement through San Antonio. And so that's always been something that is precious to me, something that I appreciate. But to be quite honest, and I think I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think that you would agree with this. It's like, what I appreciate most is seeing how other people are affected by the thing that I developed. Because again, these are thoughts that are manifest themselves into reality. This was just an idea for me that I created. And then, my little homie Kev, I talk like this, so I hope this is all right. My little homie Kev, he made 5 figures off of the digital MBA. So we bought the digital MBA, took the strategies, invested in the cryptocurrencies that we discussed, and he made $10,000. It's 5 figures. And mind you, we're not talking about, a large, he didn't invest 8,000 and make 10,000. He invested a couple hundred and worked his way up. And so this is somebody that, that needed the money and
gave proof to the formula that you said.
He gave proof to the formula, so when you ask me what is the most, you said what's the most.
The grandest moment.
Okay,
yeah. The most memorable.
So the grandest,
impactful.
Gotcha.
Let me give you some adjectives.
Gotcha. So the most impactful is just that, like seeing people that are taking the program, making 5 figures. He wasn't even the one that's made the most, but he stands out to me in my mind because he started with so little.
Yes.
He started with so little and worked his way up. Yeah. And so those are the moments that pull towards me.
My grandest moment, I would say, is kind of grouped together. Me knowing or finding out that I was the first bookstore, or Black-owned bookstore, all-genre bookstore, in San Antonio and on the east side of town. I was just like, oh, okay, well, that's the first, and I didn't really think people would make it a big deal, because in reality, we know as a community how we don't like to support each other. So you always want to hold on to, if one person supports me, I'm okay. So my grandest moment was when the Observer wanted to interview me. And I remember when the Observer was snap and register paper when I was growing up. So I was excited about that because I remember my mom always getting that paper. And it may not be the Express News, but that's the Black people paper. So all the Black people are going to see me. And then my aunt calling me saying, you're in the Sage newspaper. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know they had taken the clip from the Observer for that. And then my son calling me saying, Mom, you're trending on Twitter. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know. I don't ever get on Twitter to know. And so he was like, yeah, you have like 500 something views. So I'm like, I felt like a celebrity, and not in the sense of, look at me, but the fact that, wow, I want to be a help. I want to be of need to people. I want them to be able to come in, see something that they don't regularly see, and we support each other, and they're noticing that this is what I'm trying to do, in hopes that they're noticing this is what I'm trying to do, and that's bringing the people in. And then when people started coming in, I'm not just getting the older generation or the middle generation. My son told me, Mom, only old people read. And I was like, no, that's not true. I've gotten so many college students that's coming in here and buying history books because of what's going on in the world, and they want to learn why we're so upset and why we're protesting and why we, you know, are always angry at things that happen to us. And it ain't just black people coming in here. It's all kinds of people that's either on this side of town or coming from Alamo Ranch area that heard about the bookstore that wants to read. And he's, you know, and people always say too, true, when you get on Facebook and you scroll, you're reading. So you read. And it's just finding something within yourself and what interests you or what you don't think may interest you to get and read it. And I guarantee from that moment on, you may not read every day, but you're gonna read something. You're gonna find something every so often that you wanna educate yourself about. And so that's always been my greatest moment. Those three things to show me that, you know, what I'm doing is my full purpose.
I think that's essentially what I hear is I'm on my mission. I know I'm on the right path, right?
Yes.
For both of you. So congrats and kudos.
Thank you.
All the black snaps that I can conjure up. Seriously, for the impact that you both are making in the black economic power that we currently have in this country. Like everybody has to do their part, and you guys are definitely fulfilling that. So I'm seriously very proud of you.
Thank you.
Very
Appreciate
inspiring.
Thank
So
you.
last,
Can I say one thing before we move on?
Sure.
Like one of the things she said she wants to be needed. She wants to feel needed. Like we have to get into the habit of like using each other more.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
I've mentioned this
exploitation.
before. Black exploitation. It's like you're going to be exploited. If you have any type of skill or worth in society, someone's going to exploit you for your time or your skill. All I'm saying is we need to exploit each other. You understand? Not in a malicious tent, right? So be clear about your motives. But like she just said, she wants to be needed. I want to be needed. I want to be used for you know, for your vision. For your vision, for your motive. You tell me what you need, and if I can help you, let's get it done. So I'm just saying, don't be so afraid to like I'm not your enemy. Come chop it up with me. Come holler at me, and maybe I can help you. But if I can, guess what? I don't know much about the book industry, but I know somebody that does. So maybe I can't help you. But I have a network that can help you. So stop being so afraid to like talk with each other, man. And if you have any type of vision in your mind, reach out. Let's build this network and let's get it done.
and stop looking at each other like we're competitors.
Yes.
Right.
So
Yes.
Collaboration
Yes.
over competition, for
Yes.
sure.
Day.
The innate, that's ultimately the meaning of cooperative economics and Ujamaa and what we're talking about. So that's an awesome way to close it out. Did you have another question?
I had a question for you. Do you need volunteers at your bookstore?
Yes, so I had started getting with parents as far as college students needing their community service or just wanting to volunteer. Coming, I will find something to do for you because I'm always messing around doing stuff. So anything like that, even, little kids, figuring out what they could do to feel like they're doing something in business or, creating something or just, there's so many kids that want to write. So I, will offer, kids coming in and they want to write something and we read it or, whatever the case may be. So any and all that.
Okay. And how can they find you to sign up to volunteer?
Okay, so you can find me, my phone number at the bookstore is 210-314-1510, or you can email me at angiekbookstore@gmail.com. I'm on WW White Road, so the address is 155 South WW White Road, San Antonio, Texas 78219.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And do you want to give us a little bit of detail about your digital MBA product?
Yeah, digital MBA. I mean, I get real passionate about this, man. I think that we have to start to seek freedom. You know what I'm saying? We have to start to seek ownership as opposed to being an employee. You know, so if you're interested in developing wealth, if you're interested in developing generational wealth and creating opportunities not only for yourself but for your family and your loved ones, take the digital MBA. We have to get into the habit of investing in ourselves. You know, we have to get into the habit of investing in ourselves. Like, we always put our money out into different communities. We don't really spend it with ourselves. It doesn't have to be me, right? It doesn't have to be the digital MBA, but you have to educate yourself. It's a requirement in 2020. And here's the other thing I'll say. If I had someone who went to school, if I had access to someone who went to school, right, I probably would not have gone to school. I know that may be a controversial statement, but let's just put it like this, right? If she has an accounting degree, right? She just went to school, got an accounting degree. Why would I then go and spend the same money she just spent to learn the same thing she just learned? I would rather pay the sister to teach me what you just learned. You understand? So now I don't have to take out $100,000 loan. I just say, I'll pay you $1,000, save myself $99,000. That's all I'm saying. Like,
That's a nice husband.
we just have to start thinking for ourselves. Already, real talk. Real talk. But we just got to start thinking for ourselves. Again, that collaboration, how'd you phrase that?
Collaboration over competition.
We just got to start thinking for ourselves. And so that's the product that I'm selling, but I'm really selling you freedom, man. I want you to be free. I'm tired of us working 12 hours a day, coming home, cooking, cleaning, eating, taking a shower. Now it's 10 p.m. You got to go back to sleep. We still enslaved. We don't realize it.
So wake up, do the same thing. It's not where it's at.
We still enslaved. And so if you want to break that cycle, you understand? If you want to do something bigger and better for yourself, take the digital MBA. It's Linktree/Jahmal. Linktree, link.tr/ee. Is that it?
I believe so. Or better yet, just tell them to find you on Instagram. Or
Are y'all gonna put this on the bottom of this?
Yes.
All right. It's down below. Don't even worry about it. It's down below. Linktree/Jahmal. You know what I'm saying? You can follow me on Instagram at Jahmal Manning. Jahmal is Jahmal Manning. Like, get the bag, man. Get the money.
Educate yourself for sure. So, well, asante sana to both of you for joining us for tonight's Kwanzaa celebration, our virtual celebration. And we will see you all next time.
The feast. There was once a chief who decided that he wanted to give a party for his entire kingdom. Everyone was invited. He would provide all of the food and entertainment. The only thing he asked was that each family brings a gourd of wine. This would be poured into a huge pot from which all would be served. All of the villages were buzzing with excitement. People were deciding what to wear and wondering what dances and stories would be performed. It promised to be a really fabulous party. One farmer was talking with his wife as they were getting ready on the day of the party and said, "Why should we spend good money on a gourd full of wine for the king's party? Isn't this party supposed to be free?" "But dear," said his wife, "all the king is asking for is one gourd of wine. Is that really asking for so much?" But the stingy farmer, thinking himself very clever, replied, "Who will notice one gourd of water in a big pot full of wine?" So the farmer filled his gourd with water instead of wine. When the people were all gathered waiting for the party to begin, the king called everyone together for a toast. "Let every cup be filled," he shouted, "that we may drink to the future of our land. May this party be as fine as the wine we are about to drink." Everyone raised their cups in a cheer before they drank. The farmer then took a sip of his wine, but when he tasted it, he threw his cup down and shouted, "This is only water." All the others had the same complaint. It seems that the farmer was not the only one who had the idea to put water instead of wine into his gourd. They had all done it. So it was when they all had to drink at the party was water. The king was so disappointed, and he ended the party early. Ujamaa, cooperative economics.
Well, we've come to the end. Don't be sad, y'all. We have another one, but this was so good. Black business is black wealth. Black wealth is American wealth. Did you know that the black dollar only lasts in the black community for 6 hours?
Yeah, I do.
We gotta do so much better about
Absolutely.
supporting each other, supporting black businesses, and sewing into our community at large. When you shop with a black-owned business or do black-owned services, it helps that community grow their economic wealth. It helps fortify that strength that's there, and you're helping lots of families pass along generational wealth.
You know what else, Naomi? We're going to employ people that look like us.
That's right.
So when you go into black businesses and you support black businesses and services, you are also helping the employment rate in our community.
That's right.
You're putting food and clothing on your neighbors.
That's right.
We're going to employ our kids.
That's right.
We're going to take a chance on our kids.
Yes.
We'll do it before anyone else.
That's right. And that's how we build and maintain our communities. That's that emoji piece, but we're working about cooperative economics, because when we work together, we grow together.
Absolutely. And so you know I got a history lesson for you
All right,
today.
come on with it.
All right. So today, our model for cooperative economics is Charles Bellinger.
Ooh, my favorite. I like him.
There you go. And so after working for a saloon,
Okay.
like Mr. Manning was talking about,
Right.
he took his savings and his loan, from, I think it was Lone Star Brewery, and he opened a saloon here in San Antonio in 1906.
Wow.
By the time he passed in 1937, his business empire in today's dollars was worth $3.3 million.
Woo!
He was the founder of the historic black newspaper, the San Antonio Register.
Wow.
His businesses included a pool hall, a cafe, a cab company, a theater, a barber shop, a private lending service,
Wow.
a lottery, and a bootlegging operation.
Wow.
Right in today's St. Paul Square area. Now, what is really key about Charles Bellinger was he used his wealth to influence City Hall in a number of ways, including paying poll taxes for the underemployed San Antonio African American to ensure that they could vote. Now, that was illegal, but he did it anyway, and he carried enough clout that he could take the whole block of African American voters at the time, 18,000,
Wow.
and sway what needed to happen there in City Hall. So he had a love-hate relationship with San Antonio, and I'm sure you can imagine why.
Yeah.
Because black people, we loved him
Right.
and admired him, and the white people hated him, and they were a little ticked off because he had so much power.
Yeah.
But he used that power again to not just pay poll taxes, but also to make our neighborhoods better, which embodies today's principle, Ujamaa.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, we want to reach out to some of our local businesses here. We like to thank Jahmal and Angie K. You have their respective information. I want to send a special shout out to some of our behind the scenes greats. Shouts out to Edgar PR, Christian Reed Agba, and Uche Agba. I want to celebrate your Tia's Beauty Supply, which is one of our premier beauty supply stores. Now, if you have anything that you need, she has it. And if she doesn't have it, give her a call and she got you. That's just a few of the businesses that we have here. There is also a Black Business Directory that you can find at your local HEB. Am I missing anything?
I think we should talk about who provided our catering.
Absolutely, because I'm full. Don't let the Spanx fool you, y'all. We want to give a special shout out to our craft services. Thank you so much to Gnome's Catering, Noeminia Lewis, She provided us a very satisfying and beautiful craft services setup. So if you're looking for anything from catering on down to private, intimate dinners, you want to reach out to Gnomes Catering. That's NOME''S Catering.
And she's on Facebook.
And she's on Facebook, Instagram too, because it's a feast for the eyes.
There you go. Well, we hate to wrap it up, but
man.
we're going to tell you what we told you every night.
And remember, San Antonio, stay masked up.
Our chat group on December 26th. Goodbye, Saint Nick. I light a black candle. Look, ooh, it's lit. First day of Kwanzaa. Umoja means unity. Ain't messing with my clique. Melaneye, check the drip.
Self-determination is the mantra. Constant elevation like the Haitians when they conquered their colonizers. Like a real life Wakanda. True believers.